Good morning, everyone. It's Betty Ray again with the Archangel Raphael, coming to you this day to bring you happiness. It is a state of mind, and throughout these 30 days that we are talking about how to be happy, each day is a discipline of the mind and a practice that you begin that will help you to solve problems without stress, that will help you to stay healthy, and that will help you to be happy. It is a choice, Raphael says. And when people say, "What's my mission in life?" Raphael says very simply, to be happy. Because when you are happy, dear ones, everything flows for you and you. Okay. We have day 20 today. And it says, "Today I will rejoice that I am 2/3 of my way to happiness." We're 2/3 of the way to 30 days to happiness. And so it says, "I will review the previous day on this journey to happiness. I will be grateful for all the new happy experiences I have had since I began this journey. I will select one of the day's positive statements that seem appropriate for my circumstances. I will focus on turning around any uncomfortable, unhappy thoughts and experiences into seeing it with a grateful heart, knowing I have gained great wisdom in how to make better decisions." That's a great deal of wisdom right there. To look back on your life and anything that you feel you have done wrong or that isn't right or you screwed up. How many times I hear people say that, "Boy, if I hadn't made that decision." Well, that's not the way it works. Every decision that you make actually has consequences. And you are the one that decides whether those consequences are good or bad or neutral. And it's only your choice that you look at things as bad. When you can turn everything that you think is sour in your life, when you could turn it around to look at what's good in it, then you can begin to be happy. It's only when you look back and you go, "Oh, I should never have done that." Well, that can't be. You can imagine what it might be if you'd made a different choice, but that would have to be another lifetime. Or if some people say there's a parallel universe, maybe you're acting out that choice in the other way. But for now, you're in this dimension, you're on this planet Earth, and you have to deal with the choices you've made. There's no getting around it. We are co-creators with God. And in this planet of polarities and time and space elements, you have to deal with that. And that means that when you are in this present moment and you keep your mind focused on this present moment, you will begin to understand how you are really a co-creator with God. You cannot put yourself back in the past and get all upset again over what something happened, because that doesn't do you any good unless you can look back at the past, ask for divine wisdom, and smile when you receive it. Now, that doesn't mean that if you've had a bad relationship, that you say, "I'll just never go in any relationship again. I'll stay single for the rest of my life." Well, that isn't the way it works. You can't make a decision for the future like that. You don't know what God's plan is for you. You don't know what your soul's plan is for you. And I think that's so important to become aware of, that you are a co-creator with God. God is you in action in a physical dimension. This spacesuit that you're wearing is simply a time mechanism. It was born as a tiny baby. And I think about my 4 children. They were all tiny, tiny seeds that grew into an infant, that grew into a baby, that grew into 6 feet, 3 inches tall. I look at them and I think, oh my gosh, isn't it amazing? And I was very, very fortunate this week, in fact, Wednesday, that my daughter arranged a Zoom meeting with my children, with her brothers and her. And it was just like a family reunion. I was so tickled that I just couldn't begin to tell you. So if you need to make contact with people that you've lost contact with because of the coronavirus, then create a Zoom meeting, figure it out, have somebody help you do it, because it's great. It's great to hear from everyone. And I had to make sure that everybody had something to say, because sometimes some people will want to monopolize the conversation and they will take it over. And so I kind of was the narrator. And so I would say, would wait for a kind of a slight pause in one person and jump into someone else. My two of my grandchildren were there. It was only my boys and my daughter and her husband and her two children, because it was in her house. So it was wonderful. It was just great. I want to learn how to do it, because I want to learn how to be able to gather people in a meeting where we can learn how to meditate. And I can do a deep meditation with you. So look forward to that. I really do want to be able to be more of service to you, to make your life lighter and happier and more joyful. And that's what Raphael and I are here to do, to raise your consciousness out of fear and anxiety and doubt. All of those things drag you down and steal your energy. And what fills up your energy is paying attention to things that are happy, focusing more on that than on what makes you unhappy. That's the secret. It's so simple that you can't believe it works, but it does. Focus on what you love. Focus on the good out of everything that is bad. You know, I had a relationship for 32 years with my children's father. It was my decision to break up that relationship. But I look back on it, and he was a very good man. He's in spirit now. He was conscientious. He never cheated. He was a good provider. The only problem was is he had a temper, and he would take out his anxieties and frustrations on me until I finally said, I can't be your whipping board anymore. I have to find my own peace and happiness. And I did. And consequently, 2 years after the divorce, my second husband came into my life, and he was wonderful. He, I can't say adored me, but it was just about like that. So I say to each of you, don't stay in a relationship if somebody's beating you up verbally, emotionally. They don't have to hit you. I think emotional blows are much more painful than if somebody did sock you in the arm and say something. Although I certainly don't agree with that. And I certainly would never, ever say stay with a person who is physically and even emotionally and verbally abusive. You don't have to put up with that. And at the time that I first sought a divorce, I was laid off from teaching. I didn't even have a job. I was so confident that I could get a job. But when I started looking, I went to Art Van Furniture thinking I could be a salesperson. I mean, I was able to do things like that. I knew I could do it. But you know what they said? They said, with your master's degrees, you're overqualified and underexperienced. I'm sorry, but we can't hire you. And so I was like dumbfounded, like, I can do this. But no, I was turned away because of my education. So I did eventually find a job that was in sales, and I was good at sales. I figured that if I went to 10 different customers, I would get at least one. That's the law of average for sales. So I just made it a point to knock on doors. This was a product that we were selling, you might say, for on-the-job training, and it was with GM, UAW, and the state. They put together this on-the-job training where they would pay these small manufacturing companies to hire people who had been laid off from GM. UAW was part of it, the state, and GM. And so these people got together and they did this on-the-job training. And they hired me as a salesperson for that. They hired me and another gentleman who were white, and they hired a black woman and a black man and they were also part of this on-the-job training to sell it. So you never know what's going to happen when you open your mind joyfully to possibilities. You have to let go of doubt and anxiety. And that's why it is so important that you learn to pay attention to your thoughts. If you go back and look at the days that we've talked about, they said put a guard on your thoughts. That means that you don't let things just filter through your head you kind of say, whoa, wait a minute now, I don't like that thought. So you throw it out. And then you say, okay, this is the thought I want to hold on to. I want to see myself smiling in the mirror. I want to see myself hugging myself because I am so happy. And you know what? That will happen. What you focus on, what you put your thoughts to, and when you don't allow the other negative thoughts, you just sort of say no. Now, that doesn't mean to be impractical. That simply means that you have control over your life. You are the creator by what you focus on, what you think about all the time. And if you're thinking about all the doom and gloom and all the mistakes you made and all of the terrible things that are happening, and sometimes Mercury goes retrograde and you can't help it, but all kinds of things can happen. And there can be miscommunication up the wazoo. And that's just life. That's the way it is on planet Earth. We are influenced by the stars. Don't ask me anything about astrology because I couldn't learn it. I told you this in another episode that I did try to study it under a very good teacher, and I had flashcards and everything, but I could not even remember whose was cardinal and whose was something else, and if it was a water sign or an air sign. Nothing generated with me. It just went in one ear and took a highway out the other one. And I finally said to Raphael, why can't I learn this? And what I heard very quietly was, we want you empty-headed. Empty-headed, I said. I've told this story before because it still cracks me up. I was told I needed to have nothing in my head when Raphael was bringing through information. He didn't want interference from Betty Ray. He wanted me to be, as he calls me, a pure channel. That means I put myself aside and I let Raphael's wisdom and knowledge come through. And things that I get for people that come for a reading, I like to call it a consultation, but what they get are amazing because I don't know it. They've never met me before. And yet I can tell them what's going on in their house. I can see items in their house. Not because I'm doing it, it's because Raphael puts a picture in my head. I remember one time I did that. I actually saw a particular vase or something in someone's house, and other things has happened. And this just astounds people. But it's not Betty Ray. It's Raphael giving me the images, giving me the ideas. And in the moment, I just spurt them out. But I have to be empty-headed. I can't say, when's your birthday? And then calculate what they are. If they're a Gemini, if they're this, they're that. I don't have room in my brain for that. And therefore, it's not Betty Ray that is giving you a message from the archangel. It's Betty Ray who is the telephone by which you receive the message through me from Raphael. So don't hesitate to email me for an appointment at angelbettyray@gmail.com. And we're still here at 11 o'clock every day. Sometimes it's hard to get myself ready if I haven't slept most of the night, but I will be here. I don't know for how long, but I will be here at 11 o'clock every day to give you a message until we're done with the 30 days. So we have 10 more days that you can find me here on YouTube at Ask Raphael /Betty Ray, and you can hear what the 30 days for happiness are. So I do hope you will come, and this is live. You can ask a question live. And it's showing me that I have 2 people that are here, but they're not talking. So that's okay. You are more than welcome to ask a question. And this lovely picture behind me here was a gift from my son who was in Rome. And he actually bought that when he was in Rome and sent it to me. And then as I scoot over, you can see that lovely ceramic that I was inspired to do. And it is made of plywood, and it was made of stained glass that I cut in little tiny triangles and put it on there with grout, non-sanded grout. I wanted to say that again because when I first spoke about it, I didn't tell you to use the non-sanded grout, but that's all it is. And you just sort of like a jigsaw puzzle, only you get to cheat. You get to cut the pieces to fit. And so that's something that you can create while you're stuck at home. You can go to the hardware store and get this plywood. I don't know how thickness is. It's about like that, not very thick. but so that it won't warp and it won't bend, but not real heavy. And then you treat it with kills on both sides, and that's a treatment for wood so that it can't get moist. So that's important because a lot of my mosaics are outside, but this one is an inside one. And I sketched it. Sometimes I get a picture on the internet and I bring it down and I blow it up and then I trace it on a piece of board and then I play with the jigsaw puzzle. It's so much fun to do and so easy. And so stained glass now is something you can order online. You can find things that will help you, that will give you what you would like to do. And start with a little piece like that. Although with me, I didn't start with a little piece. I started with a 3 foot by 5 foot piece of board because I was so inspired when I first learned about it at the Mosaic house in Midland, Michigan. If you ever get a chance and you're in Michigan, go there. It's so amazing. This man who was working with the community because he had some kind of a psychological problem, and they were helping him through drama and art. And he had the most beautiful mosaics that he put on his stucco house. It was a one-story house, and he began putting different mosaics on the house. And one in particular was of him as a shepherd holding a black sheep in his arms. Can you imagine? He said he was the black sheep and that God rescued him. It was bigger than life. It filled the whole side of his house. And this is amazing. He got that information from God through his angels to do this, to explore with things. And it just happened that he had some kind of it was some kind of a store that he had used Tiffany lamps and stuff like that. And he had leftover things that were Tiffany. And he just simply took those dishes and those things and he made mosaics all around his house. It was absolutely gorgeous. And that is now part of a museum. It's called the Mosaic House. So if you live in Michigan and you get a chance to go north, it's north of Detroit, about a couple of hours. It's in Midland, Michigan. Go see the Mosaic House. And of course, the minute I saw it, I said, I have to do that. And so I went home and bought this piece of plywood that was 3 feet by 5 feet. And I recreated what I now call the spiral angel. And she was made of broken dishes. And she had wings of dishes that were white and had little blue edges on it so that I could outline that. It turned out beautifully. I'll have to get a picture that I can share with you sometime. But when this 30 days is over, please don't expect that I'm just going to suddenly fade away, because I will be having my video under Ask Raphael and Betty Ray. And so I won't go away even when the 30 days is over. And I hope that you come and ask questions. And if you can't here, if you don't want to be shown in the public like this, then don't hesitate to email me for a message from Raphael. angelbettyray@gmail.com. Very easy to remember. ANGEL Betty at gmail.com. And I'll be more than happy to set up a time when you can have a message from Raphael. I'm retired many, many years now, and so I'm available. You'll be given a time that works for your schedule if you're not so easy to just sit down and have the talk. So that's it for today. I'll read to you again what day 20 is. Let me show it to you. And again, this is our little booklet, which is available, and you can email me and I will send you a copy of it. It's only $5 plus shipping. So shipping is maybe about $4 or so, or $5, because I'll send it slow mail through just the media mail. And so today on day 20, it is, I will review the previous days on this journey to happiness. I will be grateful for all the new happy experiences I've had since I began this journey. I will select one of the day's positive statements that seem appropriate for my circumstances. I will focus on turning around any uncomfortable, unhappy thoughts and experiences into seeing it with a grateful heart, knowing I have gained great wisdom in how to make better choices. So hold on to that every day You are always inspired by your angels and guides of how to make good choices. And sometimes we're just bullheaded and stubborn and say, I'm not going to do that. And there you go. You got to suffer the consequences. And sometimes there are no consequences right away. Don't expect that your cause and effect is like a rubber band. You push it out, it snaps right back. It doesn't work that way. And the thing I've found when I get from people, why did this person do this to me? And I said, let's go back a little ways and tell me of a confrontation you had with another person, a different person. And how did that go? And sometimes we would hit the nail right on the head right there. And they would say, oh my gosh, are you saying this is karma? And I'm saying, no, it's not karma in the way you understand it, because you think of karma as retaliation or paybacks. And it isn't. It's simply an opportunity for you to experience what you're putting out so that you can gain wisdom and how to be an advanced soul on planet Earth. It is all about gaining wisdom. And if you focus on how to be happy, you're going to find that all the negative stuff begins to shed off, just like you were a mutating bird or something and got rid of all of your feathers, kind of like the phoenix. You can become a phoenix. You can get rid of all that old feathers that no longer serve you, and you can just glorifyingly bring on new, beautiful feathers. That's what this 30 Days to Happiness is all about. Be happy. Choose to be happy. Look at life with joy in your heart and gratefulness to God. That's so important. To be grateful for everything that you experience, even the bad stuff, because you will gain wisdom for your soul. And when you do, you make better choices. It's like, oh, I'm not going to do that again. And so you move away and make a better choice. So let the angels speak to you. And how do you do that? By getting quiet, by making your mind shut up. Breathing deeply, that's so important. Deep abdominal breathing. And then relax your body. And then open up your mind with joy to whatever your angels have to say to you. That's why these 30 Days to Happiness are so important. Because if you are locked in fear and anxiety and the idea that nothing will ever go right, then nothing will ever go right because you create it. Now, that may not be entirely true because the universe is full of energy that is being bombarded onto the planet, is being bombarded on you. And sometimes you have amazing experiences that you didn't see coming and that you did not, as you might say, create because of your thoughts. You created because either the thoughts of others or because it was just in the energy that is around you. And sometimes you can be around people and their negativity kind of sticks to you. And it's like, what am I doing here? I'm beginning to sound like so-and-so. And that's when you have to put so-and-so at a distance. Now, if you're living with them, that's kind of hard to do. But what you can do is just walk away, go into the bathroom and shut the door and lock it. And then take a deep breath and cleanse yourself of it. Imagine that you're having a spiritual, sacred shower and that it's coming and it's cleansing all of the negativity from your body and all illnesses. And this is a shower of divine light. Use your playful imagination, everyone, because that's why God gave it to you. And Jesus said, unless you become as little children, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. Where's the kingdom of heaven? He said, it's right within you, because that means that your connection to God is with your soul, your mind, and your physical thoughts. That's how you connect. And so you have to let go of everybody else that's interfering in your thoughts, of everything that's going on in the pandemic. You have to let go of that and focus on the joy that God has to give you. And you will be amazed at how your energy will lift up. And before you know it, you'll be smiling and not even realizing you're smiling. So on day 20, once more, today I will rejoice that I am 2/3 of the way to happiness. And I will review the previous days on this journey to happiness. I will be grateful for all the new happy experiences I have had since I began this journey. I will select one of the day's positive statements that seem appropriate for my circumstances. I will focus on turning around any uncomfortable, unhappy thoughts and experiences into seeing it with a grateful heart, knowing I have gained great wisdom in how to make better choices. And so, dear friends, be at peace this day. Come back again tomorrow. And if you have questions, please don't hesitate to email them to me. I can talk about them on here, or you can give me your phone number and I will call you and we can make an appointment, or even your email and I can email you back and we can find a time when Raphael can speak to you directly. That does happen, dear friends, and it's a wonderful experience. I can't encourage it enough. So that's it for today. Bye, everyone. Take care of yourselves and be happy.